Let's start our today's webinar on assertiveness building in a workplace. Yeah, let me tell you something about Eclectica. This is our company that you might already be familiar with. We are, as you might already know, we are a professional language center provider for businesses, and we specialize in teaching skilled individuals in such industries like e-commerce, IT, and digital companies. Apart from English, we also teach other languages, delivering to multiple partners. Myself, my name is Maria Jacek, and I'm a business English trainer at Eclectica. And yeah, I can see more and more people are coming, which is great, We're going to have a pretty large group today. There is a brief program of our webinar today. So we are going to talking about assertiveness and its role in positive communication, moving on to active listening and responding, learning how to do it properly, managing conflict assertively and positively.
Nie, bo nie,
We're
tam ma
also
jakieś szkolenie, spotkanie, coś tam.
Somebody's not on mute. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't see who it was. There are also going to be a few exercises. Guys, before we start, let's have some warm-up. How assertive are you? How would you rate your assertiveness on scale 1 to 10? Whilst 1 is not assertive and 10 extremely assertive. You can use the chat box to type the number. Whether you are very assertive. Okay. Somebody, yeah, oh, I can see some numbers. Could you please mute yourself? Thank you. Number 2, 7, 9. So someone is very assertive, as I can see. Yeah, somebody has given themselves 3. Yeah, so the numbers vary. And let me have a look. Some of you are not muted. If you could please mute yourselves.
Spacing right with all of these wheels. It doesn't matter. Okay, just started from roads. So entry roads are the wheels themselves, but the roads pass
Hello, welcome.
And why I told that we're going to take for a while. So they require pumping shapes. So if I put it like this, you see it does attract roads. And I'm pretty sure this is the only way you can actually make a tank try to like move around and try to normally down. Because you can't.
Okay, everyone's muted now. Thank you. Yeah, all right. So the scores have been various. Yeah, from not assertive to very assertive. Thank you. Moving on. Some people, we're going to speak about assertiveness building in a workplace. And as we know, some people find it troublesome. Some people find it hard to refuse when being asked to do something. So basically, they have difficulties being assertive. Why do you think that is so? You can write it in the chat. You can speak up, unmute yourself, and you can speak up. Whatever you prefer. Why do you think that it is hard to be assertive for so many people? They don't want to offend anybody. Yeah? Okay, they don't want to sound too offensive. They don't want to offend anybody. So they basically want to be polite. Any other ideas? Why aren't people assertive at times? Because we don't want to be judged, yeah, negatively. Yeah? Yes, we don't want to speak up. We don't want to be judged, assessed by others. Any other ideas? Why not? Why aren't we assertive sometimes? We might not be 100% sure about our position. Yes. We want to be polite, again, not offensive, polite. We don't have 100% certainty that what we think is right. Good point. Does anybody have anything to add? Yes, because you might not know the language well. Yeah. How are you supposed to object when you don't speak the language fluently and you have to respond quickly? What to start with? Low self-esteem, Olya says. Thank you. Low self-esteem. So you might underestimate yourself. Any other ideas? Nothing? Thank you. Yes, we've had many. We've had many opinions. Please mute yourselves. I will mute that person. Thank you. More and more people are joining. Let's start. Right. So basically, when it comes to being assertive, I'm going to introduce you with 4 strategies, which you might consider and use them to your advantage. Let's start with the first one. Strategy number 1 that I'm going to speak about is called deliberate delivery. It means that when you are replying, you should reply with gratitude and context. What does that mean? Apart from being polite, because we don't want to sound impolite, of course, apart from being polite, you're supposed to provide the context of why you are saying no. You might do it by saying, I appreciate your offer, but I'm flattered for this offer. So this offer is a flattery. I'm really pleased with this offer. However, I'm not in the place to accept that at that moment. Doesn't mean that I will not be able to accept it later, but not for now. Apologies, I'd love to do it, but I can't. I appreciate your offer, but I'm not in the place to accept that at that moment. Providing a context depending on the situation you are in. It's important as people might sound impolite saying just no or saying just thank you, but no. No, but when you provide a context, your speaker will feel heard. So that was strategy number 1, deliberate delivery. Strategy number 2, though, and now that you have replied that you can't do that, provided the context, showed gratitude, you can offer an alternative. That means that you are supposed to redirect towards different resources. I'm not up for this, but you might want to ask. Whom? Ask Mark. He's quite experienced. And how to do it in another way, in a different way, have you considered? I'm not up for this, but have you considered asking Mark? Have you considered asking other people? Have you considered sending an email to all the people from our department? Somebody might agree. Deliberate delivery, offering alternatives. Strategy 3, though, provides you with buying time before committing. Before you commit, give yourself some time, as the immediate answer is not always necessary. So, instead of saying no immediately, you might say, can I get back to you on that? Well, sorry, but I need to give it some thought. Would it be okay if I answer to this question the day after tomorrow? your speaker will mostly probably agree to. Moving on to the fourth strategy. What to do when you are being chivied. To chivvy somebody is to ask somebody repetitively about the same thing all over and over. Could you please do it to me, for me? Could you please do it? And after a few hours, do you remember our conversation? Do you remember my question? The question I asked you 2 hours before. Could you please do that to me? And the next day the same. Somebody repetitively asks you for some favor on and on again. And what to do when somebody doesn't want to accept no as an answer. When you say no and they keep on asking, you can refer to your schedule. With my current schedule, I would be unfortunately unreliable to take this up. Also, you can say that you have other obligations. So due to other obligations, due to my other duties, unfortunately, I'm not in the place to accept this offer, this request. Sorry, but I'm not sure that I would be 100% reliable taking this up. Not with my current schedule. When you refer to your current schedule, you're kind of referring to force majeure, major force, something that's beyond you. Because schedule, you just can't. Of course you would like to, but you just can't. So those have been the 4 strategies on assertiveness in a workplace. Let's play a game now. I can see some of you are taking notes. So just for you to know, well, first of all, I'm very happy that you find those phrases practical. Otherwise, you wouldn't be taking notes. But after our webinar, my presentation will be sent to you via email. So you will receive this presentation to your email. But if you want to take notes now, of course, carry on. Let's play a game. Somebody is sending heart. Thank you. Let's play a game to discuss those 4 strategies on how to be assertive. That's game 1. You are supposed to choose A or B. You can say it out loud or you can type it in the chat. Let's have a look. Okay, so there is a situation. Your supervisor offers you a job at your company's clients. However, that would mean you relocating to Lisbon for 3 months. Your personal life would suffer, so you don't want to go. You have kids. You have your, family commitments. What do you say? Would you say A? Would you say B? Remember, you want to be assertive, but you are in the workplace. Sorry. So A, lot of A's. Lot of A's in our chat box. A. Would anybody say B? I can see not. I can see not. Let's mark A, but I could say that what is an option B in other words? Yes. Yeah, in more polite words, perhaps, Olya, yeah? In more polite words. Thank you. Hannah, you say B. It's out of the question. What a crazy idea. Okay, that's really strong. That's really strong. Yeah. I'm not sure about the outcome you would achieve by saying the words in B. But if you use the ones in A, you will definitely sound more polite, and you will show gratitude as you say, "I'm flattered by this offer." You are saying you have had such a situation, Hannah. Oh dear. And this is what you replied, more or less. Yeah, so when you are surprised by such an offer, or when somebody is chivvying you, some people might reply in such a way. However, according to the 4 strategies I have been talking about, The correct answer is A.
Recording in progress.
Your situation number 2. Your colleague asks you to help them with their task. Still, you already have a lot on your plate and you don't want to do this. To have a lot on your plate means to have many different things to do. What do you say? A or B? A is very logical, isn't it? Sorry, we all have a lot of work. Look at me. Can you see anyone helping me? Can you? But people started choosing B. B, 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 B. Thank you guys for being responsive. Thank you for collaborating. B, B, B. Everybody says B. Sorry, I can't do that. Have you considered asking Tom or Mark? He's just finished his project and should be free. Yeah, send them to Tom. You're right. According to the 4 strategies being discussed, it's B. Situation number 3. Your boss asks you to work overtime. You are not sure. The overtime would be paid 400% extra, but would take much time and effort. Time is precious, isn't it? What would you say? A? I need to give it some thought. So would you buy yourself more time? Or would you say B? What does my contract say? 8 hours? So 8 hours it is. Referring to the contract. You say A though. A. Would anybody say B? A? Another A? Would anybody say B? B is really strong. That's super assertive. Not very polite though. A? More people keep saying A. And the last situation, let's have a look. Your colleague is on a long leave, like sick leave, for example, and your boss wants you to cover for her and do your own job. It's too much for you though, and you already, sorry for the typo, feel overloaded. A. So you're referring, guys, to your current schedule. A. Nobody would say like what? That's so logical, come on. If a job can be done by one person, why have you hired 2? Still A, more A's. That's it? A? Thank you. Thank you for responding. That's of course A. That's of course A. I'm not sure about the reaction of the boss, having heard the words in B. Like what? I'm not sure about it. Thank you. Thank you for participating in this little game. Let's go back to our presentation. So those were 4 strategies on how to be assertive in the workplace. Yeah, when you want to, there is an example that you might want to answer in your own time. You know, when you later on, when you are reading my presentation, you can think, how would you respond in such a situation? Let's move on to active listening, though. So, it might sound like a cliche that hearing is not listening. We all know about it. Still, I had to underline it. If hearing is not listening, then what is listening? Listening is hearing plus the factor of paying attention. How to listen actively, though? Active listening, when you hear and pay attention and you deducting is minus, yeah? Minus daydreaming. Stop daydreaming. What is daydreaming? Daydreaming is imagining what our speaker might say later. Preparing. Be present in the now. Don't think about the future. Don't think what they might say in a few minutes. They might say it, they might not. Don't suppose what other person might be thinking. You will never know. Deduct daydreaming. Focus on reality. How to listen actively, though? Pay attention, show you're listening, provide feedback. Feedback is much underappreciated nowadays, I believe. Respond appropriately and refrain from judgment. Don't daydream, don't judge.
Co tam się dzieje?
Muted. You can do it by paraphrasing. How to show your speaker that you are listening actively? You can begin with paraphrasing and you can use those phrases. So you basically paraphrase your speaker's words using such phrases as, I'm not sure I'm with you, but if I'm hearing you correctly, are you saying that? To make sure you understand what the other person is speaking about. You can mark the importance of this issue to the other person, saying the thing you feel is most important is. So the thing you feel is most important is meeting the deadline. Although it's tomorrow and we are not able to see a light in a tunnel yet. Paraphrasing. Later on, when you receive this presentation, of course, you can freely use those paraphrasing phrases, expressions to your advantage. Being assertive also means managing conflicts in an assertive and a positive way. That would result in reaching resolution. Conflicts in the workplace happen. In your opinion, or from your experience, what are some common causes of conflicts at the workplace? You can write those in a chat. You can speak up, unmute yourself and speak up if you prefer. Common causes of conflicts. What is the ground for a conflict in a workplace, in an office, for example? In an open space office? Why do people argue? Why do people have clashes? Misunderstanding. Misunderstanding of what? Of somebody's intentions, for example. Assuming they meant something different. Different vision and no mutual understanding on the solution. So different perspective, different vision, different opinions. Air conditioning, temperature, of course. Some like it hot. Some people prefer hot interiors. Some people prefer lower temperatures. How to adapt the temperature to everybody in a workplace, in an open space office, when there are 30 people. Is it possible to comfort absolutely everybody in such an open space office? I believe not. I believe not. Noise. Different people have different sensitivity, different ear, like different sensitivity to noise. What is unbearable for somebody might not be heard for another person. Who is a leader in this project? Who is going to take the lead? Who is the leader? Sometimes people are not leaders and they behave as if they were once. Any other ideas? Common causes for conflict in a workplace. Competitive. You mean competition? You mean a rat race? Being competitive. When people compete against each other. Yes, definitely, definitely. Absence of or little certainty on deadlines. Who takes care of what? Yes. Yeah. So unclear distribution of duties, I would say. Or if the deadline hasn't been clearly stated. The deadline is tomorrow. Tomorrow? I thought it was Tuesday next week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your replies. Those are, in fact, very, very common causes of conflicts. I'm really happy that somebody mentioned the temperature in a workplace. It's a matter of health and well-being. How to deal with conflicts, how to manage conflicts in a positive and constructive way. One way of doing that would be referring to passive voice. Instead of saying you made a mistake, say a mistake was made. Instead of saying you missed the deadline or we missed the deadline because of you. That's an accusation. You accuse somebody, yeah? You put the blame on somebody. You can say, so, okay, guys, that deadline was missed. Deadline was missed. We have to appoint another one. So, not pointing whose blame it was, but rather stating the fact that a mistake was made. There was some kind of mistake that was made, not pointing by whom. That's one strategy. Another one, instead of not agreeing immediately, jumping at no, try understanding the other person's point of view. You can use the paraphrasing expressions and the paraphrasing techniques above mentioned techniques to show your speaker that you understand their point of view. So the way you see it is that the mistake is huge. We have to find a solution to our problems, and it's a good idea to initiate a resolution. How to do that? Identify the issue, state your needs without placing a blame. How to do it without placing a blame? Use a passive voice when you are not stating who made that mistake. It's really important to state your needs because by stating your needs, you provide context. I really need this document for today. It's really important for me because other people are dependent on me, or the people I refer to need it. Providing a reason why provides broader context. You could also use the second conditional. Not sure if you're familiar with the structure. If not, let's have a look at it. If so, let's revise. Why do we use the second conditional? So would, making a hypothesis. What would you say if we tried? What would you say if we tried discussing this issue? What would you say if we tried extending the deadline? Why is it a good idea to use the second conditional? Because past tense makes distance, and distance shows respect. Let's take a short quiz. Let's exercise the strategies on managing conflicts and being assertive. So I show you some examples of some replies. And you can tell me whether it's a good idea or a bad idea to say so. Let's have a look at the first one. I would be grateful if you signed and returned the document by the end of the week. Is it good to say so or is it bad to say so? People have started replying. Yes, yes, AA, good. Good, A. Would anybody say it's a bad idea? Is there anybody who doesn't like that phrase? I hope not, because it's actually a good one. It's the second conditional, using would, hypothesizing, using past simple for distance, showing a bit of respect. Of course, it's a good strategy to say so. Let's move on. What do you want from me? I'm not responsible for that. Well, somebody said we are supposed to be assertive. Aren't we, then, by saying so? I'm not responsible for that. What are your answers? A, so you say it's bad, bad, bad. Yeah, that's of course rather a bad idea. Rather a bad idea. You might sound offensive. You might sound offensive saying, what do you want from me? I'm not responsible for that. Shrugging at the same time. Of course, bad idea. Thank you for your replies. You didn't save the changes in the system. Now we all have to redo. So to do again, we have to redo the work. Thanks. Is it good or bad? We're stating the fact. We're stating the fact. You didn't save the system, the changes in the system, and you know that it was you. And now look, we all have to do all the work again. But you say, guys, it's a bad idea. Let me scroll up to check if everybody has typed A. No. Nobody. Bad? Definitely. Definitely bad. Yeah. What would you say instead? You could use the passive voice instead. The changes in the system haven't been saved or weren't saved yesterday. Not placing the blame, not stating that you didn't do it. Of course, it's a bad idea. Bad, bad. Let's move on. I understand where you're coming from, but I really can't help the delay. I can't help the delay means I can't do anything about the delay. Is it a good idea to say so? I understand where you're coming from, but I really can't help the delay. Say good, good, lot of B's, another B, 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 B. You show understanding by saying so. You show understanding to your speaker's point of view. I understand what you mean. I understand where you're coming from. I get your point of view, but I really can't do much about the delay. Forgive me. No, joking. Of course, it's a good idea. Thank you. Let's have a look at the next one. When we agreed to meet at 9 and you arrive at 9:15, I feel frustrated because I value agreements. A, says Olya. Good. Mm-hmm. A. When you're not active, I suppose I start thinking you say it's a bad idea. A. Ah, many people agree with the first people who typed A. First, you provide the context. It's a good idea, of course. Yeah, you got this because you provide the context. Then you state how you feel. You're not judging anybody. You're not stating your judgment. You're just stating your feelings. And then you provide the context of what is really important for you. In that case, agreements. I value agreements. That's why I feel frustrated when this and that happens. A, of course. That was last but one. Let's have a look at the last one. I know you are in a hurry and want to quickly describe the problem, but I would like to ask you to let me finish first. Are you willing to do so? Okay. That's quite straightforward. People keep saying it's a good way of responding. Good, good, good. B. You show you have noticed that your speaker is in a hurry, and then they will just want to quickly describe the problem because they don't have time, because they are in a hurry. But then you're making a request. You state would like to, which is a polite expression, B, thank you guys. And you make a request. Yeah, you're making a request. You're not demanding. You're making a request. I would like to ask you to let me finish first. And asking, are you willing to do so? Are you willing to do so is a very polite question, very polite statement. It's a good idea. B, thank you. Thank you for all the responses. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the responses. So those were 4 strategies on being assertive and strategies on managing conflict in an assertive way. And at the end of the presentation, there is a self-reflection corner, and there are some questions for you. You can have a look at those questions later and deliberate. If you tend to share your feelings with the world, or do you rather keep yourself to yourself? What would you do in such situations? Like your boss has told you they have a great idea. You have some objections. How do you state your objections? You can try answering this question. Are you able to say no when you don't want to do something? Be honest. Or do you offer your opinion when you disagree with something or somebody? Do you do that? Don't you do that? You can make such a self-reflection later on in your own time. Let's move on to questions and answers part, Q&A. Guys, do you have any questions after our webinar? After having read and listened to all the phrases, the strategies on how to be assertive, how to manage conflict, do you have any questions about grammar, maybe? Do you have any questions about anything that has been mentioned today in our webinar? You can speak up or you can type your question in the chat box.
Maria, I have a question.
Yeah, carry on.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for this webinar. I have a question which I think also concerns assertiveness, but not like to reject, but to speak up more in this context. Yeah, because oftentimes I don't feel that I should speak up or not like the right moment, or like maybe I lack the correct words or something like that. So maybe you have some kind of like psychological, not like English advice, but yeah, some practical advice how to be assertive and like ask for what you want or need and stuff like that. Thank you.
Okay, so you're asking how to speak up.
Yes.
Yeah. What is the main obstacle? Obstacle is something that blocks you from doing so. Oh yeah, what in your opinion is the main obstacle for you?
Well, like the situation that I'm imagining right now, in this situation, the obstacle is that I'm afraid to hear no. And also, I'm afraid to be judged. Yes, that someone will think that my idea is like crazy or not appropriate or something like that. So, yeah.
Fear, so it's fear of rejection and fear of judgment,
Yeah.
which are, I guess, inevitable. Yeah, inevitable, because when you're anytime you say anything, you have to consider, you have to, bear in mind that somebody might say no, or somebody might judge you. It's natural, I guess, because we all judge the book by the cover. Yeah, at least from time to time. So I guess it's inevitable. I guess coming to terms with it would be the first step. Yeah, embrace it, accept that somebody's going to judge you, somebody's going to reject you. The next step would be not taking things personally. Yeah, because when somebody rejects you, or somebody rejects your proposal, or somebody judges you, do they show it or not? If they show it, it's your interpretation. Yeah, it's your interpretation. Oh, they think that I'm not enough. It's just your interpretation. What are the facts? You don't know the facts because you don't know the thoughts of other people. You are not mind reader. Yeah. So you can't assume what the other person is thinking. And if they really judge you, they might have other issues. People mainly think about themselves. People don't think about other people. Yeah, we only think about ourselves. Everybody is so self-centered. Everybody is so focused on themselves. Yeah. So first of all, accept that judgment and rejection are inevitable. Don't take them personally. And the reason for such rejection is usually not because something is wrong with you or you are not enough, but because your proposal doesn't meet expectation. Your proposal doesn't meet the expectations of the other person. That's why. I guess that assuming so would help you not take things personally. That it's not about you, it's about their expectation of the situation, of the proposal, of the nearest future, let's say.
Yeah, might
Yes.
be.
Just to take the first step and go right through it. Enter and
See
leave
what happens, yeah.
tunnel at the end. Yes, go right through it. When you make the first step, when you take the first step, and the second and the third one will be much easier because you will have experience.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Any other questions? Those were very valid questions, and I hope I could be of help. Do you have any other questions about assertiveness, managing conflicts, about English words, English vocabulary, English grammar? No more questions. I'll wait a bit. Somebody might be typing. All right. If there are no more questions, okay. So there is a question. Can we be assertive in front of the group? Kasia, thank you for this question. Can we be assertive in front of the group? You're asking if it's possible, if it's doable, or can we, is it okay? Kasia, could you be please, or should we postpone? Should we postpone? Kasia, to postpone means to put something off. Let's not do it now, let's do it later. That means to postpone. I'm not sure what you mean. Could you please be more specific? Can we be assertive in front of the group? Is it possible or is it allowed? If you are asking if it's possible to be assertive in front of the group, yes, it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible because first of all, yes, I was wondering if it is polite to be assertive in front of the group. Well, I guess politeness doesn't depend on your audience. Yeah, Audience are people who are listening to you. Politeness doesn't depend on your audience. If you can be assertive and polite in front of one person, you can be polite in front of other people, in front of more people, if you use the polite techniques of your self-expression. If you verbalize your thoughts in a polite way, you can use those strategies I have mentioned before. So strategies on being assertive. Yeah, if you use strategy number 3, for example, and you want to buy yourself more time, it doesn't matter whether you are speaking to one person or you are speaking to 10 people. You are being polite because it's a technical. Politeness is technical. You have to use the proper words. Yeah, and you never know if you don't inspire somebody. You know, sometimes people quietly agree with you, but everybody is afraid of speaking up. But if you do speak up, if you are assertive, then somebody might follow suit. Somebody might join you. Yeah, actually, yeah, I agree with Kasia, for example. You never know. Okay, next question. How can we learn this politically correct language? Polish people are very straightforward and direct. Yes. How do you learn this? By heart. By heart. Joking, of course. So I provided you with some really catchy phrases, with really smooth, catchy phrases, which can, of course, be translated into Polish. It doesn't matter if you use them while speaking English or if you use them when you are speaking Polish. If you use those phrases, those ready-made phrases, for example, have you considered, I'm not up for it, but you might want to ask Tom, for example, because he's pretty experienced and he has already done such project before, then you are on the right path because you are politically correct, you are assertive, and you are polite. How to do it? Memorize and practice just by practice. Because I jokingly said that you should learn by heart. I guess learning by heart, so memorizing, can help in case or in cases of stress. Yeah, when you are supposed to respond quickly and you are under pressure, it's good to have certain phrases exercised already, so you immediately know what you want to say. But practice makes perfect. Yeah, practice makes perfect. So you will have to practice those phrases anyway, and then you can say you have some experience. Because if you don't practice, it's only theory. We need to change the way we think and think before we talk. Yeah, that all starts with thinking. That all starts with thinking. Yeah, with your perception, how you perceive certain situation, how you perceive yourself and your opportunities. Those phrases, those strategies help you using your skills to your advantage. I always tell people, use your skills to your advantage. Don't lose face. Don't lose your temper. Don't go ghetto on anybody. Be polite. Try to record on phone yourself at home in English. And Diana, thank you. You've been given a heart by Olia. Thanks. Definitely. Recording. I was about to mention that actually, because recording is super helpful. Use your voice recorder in your mobile phone and try. Why don't you use your husband, your friend, your child, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, whoever, and please request something from me. But make it ridiculous. Make a ridiculous and quite aggressive request. And then you respond and record it. Play it, and you will hear yourself. And it's like, then you can think, what can I modify? What could I change? What could possibly go better? What went wrong? What are areas for improvement? Recording yourself on the phone is super practical. Yeah, because it's like, this is exercising. This is exercising. And I guess it's, better to exercise beforehand before you go live, let's say. Especially when you are talking to a supervisor or somebody from exec team or some colleague who you consider more assertive than you or aggressive, for example. There are certain people we are afraid of, so even subconsciously. That's why it's good to exercise. Yeah. Guys, any other questions? Any other questions? Any other comments? Yeah.
Yeah, I have another.
Yes, carry on.
Thank you. I'm not sure that I have a question, but there is like this type of situation that I often encounter. Yeah, and just wanted to share, and maybe you also have something to say about it. I have a team lead, and actually we have like very good human relationships between us. But sometimes when there are some like, let's say, arguments, like what decision to make, I find him like to be like higher than me, let's say, and I find it like not polite to offer the other way, and I like agree, even though I know that like logically, like from my perspective, like as a professional in this question, I can offer this solution, but I'm not being assertive. Yeah, just maybe you have some comments on this or some advice.
So the fact is that it is, you said he, so it's a man, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So he's your superior. This is a fact. Yeah, he's your superior. You are the subordinate, so you are lower by default. But that's technical. You said, because that's technical, that's hierarchy. Hierarchy in the company. That's a fact. But you said that you have some discussions. That would mean that that person, your supervisor, allows those discussions.
Yes, yes.
Because if they didn't allow, if they weren't up for kind of democracy, if they were autocratic, they wouldn't even discuss. They wouldn't even make a discussion with you.
Yes, you're right.
So if they enabled such a dispute, such a discussion, that would mean they are open to your arguments. Otherwise, why would they ask you about your opinion? Why would they even start a discussion with you? If you assume that they are open to a discussion, they should be open, logically, they should be open to your arguments. Would it be honest if you didn't provide your arguments? Would it be honest?
Probably not.
Does this person, rather not, does this person, what does this person want from you? Do they want your honest reply, honest answer? Because they value your competences, they value your expertise, your knowledge, your skills, or do they just want to make a monologue? I guess they don't want to make a monologue.
Yeah. Thank you.
If they invite a dialogue with you, you can immediately assume that you should feel free to provide your arguments. Yeah, but if you jump to a conclusion, the important thing is not to jump to a conclusion like, this is stupid. What a silly, no, this is out of the question, off the table. Me staying overtime, off the table, out of the question, over my dead body. That would be not only assertive, but also impolite. But when you employ those techniques, when you employ paraphrasing, for example, when you make more when you hypothesize more, when you ask more questions, you definitely sound polite, and you can speak your truth. Yeah, you can provide your opinion. That's what they hired you for, didn't they?
Thank you very much. Yeah, because I didn't think in that direction. Thank you so much.
You didn't think that way. Very welcome. Very welcome. Yes. Remember about showing gratitude, graceful gratitude. Remember showing how grateful you are. Yeah, that's always a good strategy. If you don't know how to start, if you don't know what to start with gratitude. Start on a positive note. Yes, that would set the pace of this conversation, showing you as an assertive person, but willing to collaborate. Yes. Any other questions? Any comments? Any thoughts? Any questions related to English grammar, maybe? Nobody wants to speak about grammar at this time on Monday, which I totally understand, but maybe feel free to. Any other questions? Any other comments? I'm not sure if anybody's typing, so I would like to wait a bit because I don't want to leave any question unanswered. At the same time, I don't want to leave you hanging. No more questions. I can see no more questions.